Okay, before we start our main review,
Mm-hmm.
because as promised, we're going to review every month, review our sales. You've been dying to tell me what you sourced. You must have sourced something real good.
So, a couple weeks ago, I needed tables, and I had to go to a town that's like 30, 40 minutes away to get them. They were able to all fit in my car, which was awesome. And then it was like, we have the rest of the day to kill. We're already up here. Let's just wind your way from garage sale to garage sale.
Mm-hmm.
We had already stopped at one earlier that day, and I got a gift for a sister-in-law, so cool. And then it was just an item here, an item there, but nothing spectacular. I think the best thing that day, specifically for reselling, which was really funny, Snuggles. The Snuggle, laundry detergent bear from the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In toy form?
In like an actual
Like a
plushie
plush?
from the
That's
80s.
funny.
I paid $1 for that, and that sold for $15, like within 3 days of listing
That's
it,
funny.
which was really
It
funny.
doesn't surprise me, but it is funny.
Last sale for the day. I should rewind a little bit. One of the things I did get, big bulk box of rubber woodback stamps, $25 for the whole thing. And some of those stamps can go for like $5 to $10 each,
Really? Okay.
which is pretty cool.
Are you gonna part them or like
I
gonna separate them or you
I
gonna?
parted out the ones where it's like, that's worth my time parting out. I already sold one of them.
What's on them?
A whole bunch of stuff. The one that sold was Pocahontas.
Oh, okay, from Disney.
Yeah.
I might have had some of those.
It's interesting
Trying to
because
think.
as I was looking at it, I'm like, I remember having one of these.
That's
as a
so
kid.
funny.
Maybe not that specific stamp, but I remember doing that as a kid.
Stamping was a thing in the
Mhm.
90s for sure.
And there's one brand called Stampin' Up. It's a very popular brand. It doesn't do well as individuals, but they come in sets, and so it'll be a container with like 6 or 8 of them. The problem is I don't know which stamps go into each set,
Oh yeah.
so I'm just gonna bundle the lot of them. I still
Let them
have
go
those.
for whatever.
Yeah, I still have those to put up. But of the ones I listed, I'm like gonna triple my money
That's
just from the
those
singles.
few. Mhm.
But the last stop for the day. Lots of Christmas stuff, lots of clothing, it's all benign. And then 3 big totes that say player piano rolls, $1 a piece.
What do those go for?
Anywhere depends on the quality and which ones they are.
Do you know? Did you have any songs that are like?
I honestly
Have you
have not looked through all of
Neat.
them. Average, they're like $10 a piece.
Nice.
Some can go for like 30. Some singles can go for like 100. It's all over the place. I got like 130 of them. I paid $80 for everything.
Oh, they gave you a bundle deal?
Yeah. It said $1 a piece or best offer.
That's kind of a fun. That's a fun find. Something
Very-
interesting.
Very fun, very unique.
Not
very
something you usually
time
sell.
consuming to list.
Yeah.
So I've listed 6 of them because they're all not the rolls themselves, but the boxes are all very dusty, very dirty.
Mm-hmm. Also, they're still in their boxes.
Yeah, they all have their boxes except for like 3 of them, I think.
Nice.
But that was just one of those things where I saw it and I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna buy all those. And then my wife was with me and I was like, oh, you should buy those. And I'm like, I'm going.
You're like, I'm already 3 thoughts ahead of you there before you even said it.
And so it was funny too, because I counted through. It was like 120, 130, somewhere in that ballpark. And I'm like, $80. And I look in my wallet. I got $80. And I go and I'm like, how about $80 for everything? They start laughing. They're like, that's exactly what we were thinking.
Oh, you're like, good, we have
Perfect.
a deal, here's your money.
It was funny too, because I gave him my money, and then I actually couldn't get everything into the car because I still had those tables in there. So I said, I'm going to take one of these boxes and I'll be back for these other ones. Then I had to run home, empty the car, go back for the other 2 boxes.
Were you far away from home at that point, or almost home?
I was nearly home.
Oh, good.
I was like within 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad.
No, it was just really funny.
That's funny.
And of the ones I've listed, 3 or 4 of them, there were no listings on eBay. So it was like...
They're unusual, maybe?
Yeah, unusual. Have
you searched them Google-wide to see if anything else comes up anywhere else?
I should have, and I didn't do it. I'm kicking myself a little bit on that, because so far, see, I did something I don't normally do. Initially, I just listed them with an asking price.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at other average sold listings. They were like, for very unique ones, $20 to $30 is like a good average. So I was going 25 plus shipping. Mm-hmm. And I talked with my coworker. Funny enough, my coworker also used to do eBay a few years ago. One of the things that got kicked off were player piano rolls, which is something he told. It was something that he found at a garage sale and bought a whole bunch of them.
Why would it get him kicked off?
No, as in, like, that's what started his eBay selling.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant kicked off his eBay.
No.
No, started his eBay selling.
His eBay selling.
It was a print block situation.
And so he started selling those piano rolls, and I told him, yeah, I've listed 6 of them. He's like, oh, with buy it now? No, you should auction them. Really? No, I don't think so. No, auction them, because he's like, yes, sure, some will sell for 10, but he had some, they went for $50.
Because the people who know what they're looking for.
Yeah. And he's like, then you don't have to do the looking. All right, so I changed the 6 I had. I changed 4 of them to auctions, and one of the ones that sold was one of the ones I listed for 25, and it sold for 10.
Ah, dang.
Because I only had like 3 people look at the item. So I don't know if it's just a difference of time, because he was selling eBay like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that is what he was telling me. And so the market has shifted since then, and I should have went with my gut and just listed it for 25. Don't know. But either way, I figured, even if I get $10 a piece for every single one, even if I get $5 a piece for every single one, I'm still clearing the money.
How many did you have total?
Like 130.
Okay, yeah, you told me that. That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's
a lot. That's cool.
It was very unique. And I don't think I'll come across something like that.
Yeah, at least not in that quantity, probably.
Definitely not in that quantity.
Interesting. I haven't done a ton of sourcing this week, but a few weeks ago we went to, I think I might have mentioned this to you, but I don't know if I mentioned it on here. We went to this no, I don't know what it is. No, you haven't. I think we went to this estate sale. Might have been where we got sick. We were sick last weekend. Oh. So it might have been there. It was that weekend, because we went to the estate sale and we went to a thrift store. So both of them were pretty good. The estate sale I had been to earlier in the sale. I think I went the afternoon of the first day. Got a few things done. And then we went back the last day when it was all 75% off, and bought about $45 worth of stuff. Well, $45 after the 75% off, which sounds like a lot, but we got a bunch of stuff. And the thing about this sale is it was a compulsive shopper hoarder kind of situation. You saw some of the stuff that we got at the sale, I think, couple weeks ago, but or must have been last week when you were here.
Yeah,
I think you were here for playing a game.
Yeah.
With you and your friends with Hannah. But anyway, because this was a compulsive shopper / hoarder situation and not just like a regular order situation, half of the stuff in this house still had the tags on it. Mm-hmm. Tags from like the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. I mean, 30, 40 years worth of tags on things. Things clothes completely unused, blankets still in the original packaging.
Did you get around to listing any of that yet?
I've listed a few things. We've started listing some of the spode Christmas tree stuff. We've had a watcher here and there, but it's not Christmas, so like some of that. But there was this pair I showed you, I think, but it was a pair of like 1990s women's hiking boots. Like the soles have not been used. The original box came with them. The original box had a little wear and tear on it, but still like from the 90s style. Yeah. That we're gonna put on Etsy, I think, is where that's going. So I have the listing up, and then Hannah's gonna get the pictures up for that. But so we bought a bunch of stuff, and it was such a severe situation that they're having to run this estate sale in phases. Mm-hmm. So we just went to phase 1, and bought a bunch of things, and I'm looking forward to phase 2, which is supposed to be like end of July, mid to end of July. And from what I heard them how I heard them talking, it sounded like they would not be done with the whole thing till like September. So I'm kind of expecting a phase 3 to be there, but we'll see. Because apparently the whole house was full, the garage was full, and there was a whole basement that was full.
Sounds like when you go, you need to let me know.
Oh yeah.
You should go. We should record some.
Oh maybe, yeah, maybe. When it comes up, I will definitely. When I know the date, I'll definitely let you know. But I want to try to be there first day, early before the sale starts. Yeah. To see what there is first round, because it was one of those estate sales, and people who estate sale will know what I'm talking about. When you go to an estate sale that is this full, you can basically guarantee that by the last day when everything's discounted, there's still going to be a ton of stuff left. And also, like, even if you went every day of the sale, you would see something that you would not, you didn't see the time before, because when there's so much stuff, it gets overwhelming. Yep. And just the digging, it just gets crazy, right? It sounds dumb. I bought a couple of kitchen towels made in US, probably from the 90s. Better quality than I would get, like...
brand new.
Yeah, now. And I got a few things for myself at the sale, too. So, I'm looking forward to that. That was a good, like, interesting kind of sourcing situation. I'm excited to see what the second round has. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to that this next month. But we also went to... after that estate sale, we went to a thrift store. We went to a St. Vinny's. Have you ever been to a St. Vinny's?
I have
St. Vincent
not.
de Paul.
I've just driven past one, I think.
They're not in our area, but just shortly outside of our area. Mm-hmm. There's a couple. So we went to one. The three of us stopped in there really quick because we were passing by on the way home from this estate sale, because the estate sale is kind of a ways out. And so we stopped in there. I bought this, and I'll clip it so I don't like drag it on too long. But I found this. It's a teak wood ball.
Oh wow!
So this looks kind of crazy, probably, but it's like a decor ball. I think it's a teak root ball or something. And we already have a couple of watchers on this. I found this at St. Vincent's for St. Vinny's for $2.
Oh my gosh!
Sitting on the shelf, and the one I went to. It's pretty substantial.
I don't know if you can tell in the video. It's very dense.
Yeah.
It's like...
I think it's a teak root ball. And if you look up the teak root balls, they are pricey. So we have this listed for $150.
Oh my gosh.
That is a pie in the sky number. That's pie in the sky.
And you already have watchers?
I did get a couple of watchers. We shot them off an offer of $125 because we don't have a ton of money into it. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get... If we got 75 out of this, I think we would be doing really awesome. And they have sold in around that range, but it's just a decor piece, kind of an interesting, like, natural decor piece, but $2 at St. Vincent's. And they're really funny there because the the pricing is all over the place. So this, which I looked up, has some value. It was $2, and then you'll find something else and it'll be like $15 or an $8 basket or something. And I'm like, the prices are kind of crazy at the thrift stores, but we found that. And then we also found this. We ended up keeping it ourselves, and it's gonna sound like we were insane when I tell you how much we paid for it. We bought a coffee grinder for $50 at St. Vinny's.
It's expensive.
It is expensive. And it was very, very dirty. But it's an Italian-made coffee grinder, brand new in perfect condition, goes for $440. It's a current model. You can still see them for sale online. The brand is Rancilio. This one was in, once it got degrimed, so Joe degrimed the whole thing. The spout where the grounds come out has a crack in it, a crack next to where it like screws into the base, and then it's missing it's like a little wire piece that's meant to hold like the portafilter for espresso machines. Yeah. That's missing. But because of the brand it is, because of the quality, we can buy those replacement parts. Like, it's one of those kinds of machines that the inside, it's metal, it's a metal burr grinder. The parts are well made and replaceable, fixable. Basically, it's not a throwaway item, it's a fixable item. So if we were to, we're keeping it, like I said, in the current condition, now that Joe cleaned it up. I think if we sold it, we could get $120 to $150 on eBay for it. So definitely, we saw one that sold. What really,
and that's without replacing those other two parts.
Yep. What really, I would think we could get probably $120 to $150 because it's in perfect working condition, other than like those small issues, and because they're so expensive. But I think when you have a piece where somebody could spend an extra $30 or $40 and get the missing piece, it's also a little more appealing that way. Yeah. Because there are several retailers. I actually contacted the company and got a list of probably a half a dozen places that sell replacement parts.
Oh, wow. So you don't even have to order it directly from the
No. There's several different like authorized parts people. So this is something that was intended to be a long time item that you keep, and you repair. And a lot of what they make is, I think, commercial espresso machines and commercial grinders and stuff. And this is like one of the home models that they make. But what really helped push us into that, like we were already thinking about it because it was high quality. You can tell by when you lift it that it's high quality. Was I looked it up on eBay, and one sold for $61 for parts.
Oh, wow.
And repair. So we knew we could get our money back either way, because we weren't 100% sure. We plugged it in, it turned on, and we thought it ground, but you couldn't 100%.
You don't have coffee beans at
the thrift store
on you?
Whoever owned it must not have known how to clean it, or must not have cared to, because it had like, coffee's kind of oily. I don't know if you drink coffee or not, but it's kind of greasy, the beans, and it had like caked itself inside the grinder. And when we found out that this machine has something built in that if it gets too hot, it'll shut itself down, so it doesn't burn itself out. And I'm wondering if they got it so clogged that it shut itself down because it got too hot, and they thought it was broken and donated it. Surprise, surprise. No, you just need to clean your stuff.
Hey, well, better that it ended up donated and not in the trash.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know if it was that, or if they had like a small coffee shop that they were using this lower model for, and went under or something. But either way, that was a really good find. Again, we're keeping it, but if we wanted to sell it, I think we could at least double our money probably. Now that it's not gross. But that particular St. Vinny's. Definitely worth going back to, and they always have a half off color and a $1 color.
Oh, nice.
Which is really cool. And it's in an area that's kind of in the middle, so they do get some like higher end interesting things like the teak ball and kitchenware and all that kind of stuff. So
the teak ball is just really neat.
Isn't it interesting?
Like it is something as a decor piece I could totally see just being like, yes.
Yeah, like on a mantle or
nice.
A console table or something, yeah.
It's crazy, $120 average.
I mean,
$150.
I think I put it on $150 as a pie in the sky because I've seen brand new ones that people are trying to sell for over 200, which is kind of where I got that number.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think if I got 75, 80, I think it would be a great thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried for the pie in the sky, but I am flexible on that.
And here's the thing.
It's definitely, I think, worth the 50 to 80 range.
So the really nice thing, that pie in the sky number, you've sent offers to people. I cannot tell you the amount of times where I'll send offers to people and then they don't take it. The very next day, somebody else comes in and buys it at full price.
Yep.
And it's just like, cool, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it has to be the right buyer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's an accessible decor piece because it's pretty modern and it's not like, it could go with a variety of decor styles. But I think I saw one that did go, I'm trying to think, wish I could remember the price. I think it was over 100 and it was had been sold from Germany or something. But, so we'll see. Maybe I'll give an update if it ever sells. But anyway, we got to get into main review.
Yes.
But that was my sourcing adventures, and then we got sick the next week, so might have picked up a little something extra while I was out. Okay.
Yeah, you sourced a sickness.
Oh, I did. Thanks for that, people. And we could have thought we got the sickness somewhere else, but all three people who live in my house got sick at a very similar time, and we were all out together that afternoon, so is what it is. Anyway, let's blast through May here. How did you do in May, total sales?
Pretty good, $1,248.
Not bad. Pretty normal for you. Pretty normal. We're at $1,062.19, little low for us. Not crazy low, higher than I had imagined in my mind, because the last few weeks has been kind of tight, or like
You didn't
underwhelming.
fall under that $1,000 mark, so.
We did not, no. So that's good. It is down 11% versus the prior time period, which would have been the prior 31 days, April 1st to May 1st, but it is what it is. So how much of yours was selling costs?
The selling costs $394.53.
What percentage of your total sales is that?
That is 31% of my total sales.
All right. I had $376.67, and that's 35.5% of my total sales. And I don't know if that has to do with categories.
Probably, because I do think the different categories. It could also be promoted listings.
Okay. So our net sales were $586.64.
Mine was $786.
All right. It's about the same ratios.
How many items?
27.
And 45.
Wow, okay. What's your average sales price looking like?
$27.74.
All right, we're at $39.34, which tracks with the amount. And we've talked, and if you look at our past videos, our averages have been a little higher, and we have been trying on that. Now, some of these things that we got at the estate sale that I was just talking about, we got them pretty cheap, and they were kind of cool. Like, I kind of like the Swode Christmas tree thing. So sometimes I'll get stuff that's maybe not in the ideal price range if the price is right and it's cool. So we might see that come down in a few months because of some of those lower level listings, but we'll see. Maybe we'll sell that teak ball.
Hey.
Okay, so did you do any auctions? I'm still doing mostly buy it now.
Not May. Like I was saying earlier, I think I have 4 of those player piano rolls on auction right now. Everything else is buy it now. I'm experimenting a little bit more. The one that did sell of the 6 I listed, I had it set up for Wednesday as the ending time, which is a really weird day to end an auction day.
Yeah, since most sales are on the weekend.
Yeah, so I adjusted my other listings, restructured them for Friday in hopes that they're gonna actually boost and sell a little bit better. And if they don't, I'm just gonna change it all to buy it now and be done with it. But
yeah, I'm still a little apprehensive about the auction, and I know sometimes you can command higher prices, but I'm just like, oh gosh, something's gonna sell for like $3.
I feel that that's the thing too. Whenever I do an auction, I put the minimum price at what I would be happy to get it at. Like, bare minimum, I need this much. That makes sense.
You ignore eBay's pleas to have you at $1.
I cannot do 99 cents because I have sold items where I list it and it only sells for 99 cents.
That's what I'm afraid
and it makes the customer really happy. But when I spend $3 to get it, I cry. Yeah. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, maybe there's some things I should just try, but
we'll even if it was like your buy it now price that you're gonna be happy with. Let's say it's $30, but you sourced it for $5. Maybe do an auction and cut it in the middle and go 15, and just experiment, especially for something.
Do you know if the auctions are advertised differently?
No idea.
That would be really interesting. If you guys know or have just anecdotal evidence that the auctions are advertised differently, I would love to know that. Because sometimes you put an item up and you immediately get people looking at it. You got eyes all over it, and then some stuff you've had on there for like 6 months and hardly anybody's seen it in the last 30 days. And I wonder if you set it to an auction and it's closing in 7 days, if that gets prioritized by the algorithm or not.
Another thing
would be really interesting.
What's really weird. So one thing I've been listing a lot more on a regular basis, and we've said it before, it triggers the algorithm. I had items that had no views, no watches sell on random days because I've just been listing so often. So sometimes that's all it really is. You just gotta list more. But that would be something really interesting to play with.
Maybe we should take some of our old stuff that's just been there for eons and just throw it into an auction and see what happens. Because even in some cases, like you said, if we could place it where we aren't going to lose money, just getting rid of it would be a net positive.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to ask Hannah what she thinks about that, because I would be interested to know if all of a sudden, you're able to sell it,
I'm going to do that. I'm going to experiment at least one of my items.
Report back.
Yeah.
Report back and see if you sold it. Something that's been sitting there for 7 months or something.
Yeah.
All right. What were your top categories this month?
So top categories were video games and consoles, toys and hobbies, specifically trading cards, camera and photo, home and garden, water filters.
Water filter?
That's something. So ages ago, I was at not the Goodwill bins, but another.
I think you told me about these water filters.
Yeah, I picked up a bunch of them for $2 a piece.
You sold one a couple months ago, right?
I had 8 of them or 10 of them. So I've been selling them in bundles of 2, $40 plus shipping.
Is it the same person coming back?
No, different. I've had different customers for each one.
Interesting. Because I could see it if someone from 2 or 3 months ago came back because they needed the filters again.
But they're fridge filters.
Interesting.
So
for a specific I do remember talking about this.
So it's just
that's funny.
Cool. They're all sold now. I'm really happy. And I paid literally $2 for each one, and I said, well, selling them individually doesn't really make sense. Bundle the 2, and it's made me more than $100 doing that. So
that's pretty nice. You just had to wait for the right customers.
Yeah, it was slow seller. But
it happens.
But when it was quantity of 8, so I had 8 of them, so it was a quantity of 4 listing.
What's their original retail? Do you know?
No idea. I just based it off of...
I wonder if they don't make them, or they're really hard to find.
I don't think they make them anymore because they're for an older fridge model.
That would be infuriating for somebody who owns that fridge.
But it's not even the name brand filter. It's an
off-brand.
Off-brand that's compatible with 8 different types of fridges. But I sold the last 2 of my listings, so that's the only reason why.
Alright, so that's why you got home and garden on there.
Yeah.
So the other categories are pretty par for the course for you. What's your last one?
Toys and hobbies, Legos. So
that's normal for you. No unusual sales.
No, nothing. Wow, what in the world? What do you sell? But
nothing too interesting. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I made
money.
Okay, money this month. All right, so My top was crafts, sewing, other sewing. It's $175.26, I think, which was 16.5% of total sales for May. I think that was that pleater.
Oh.
I forgot that it sold this month.
Yep.
It did make it to Mexico.
Nice.
Safe and sound.
I didn't know it was going to Mexico.
It went to Mexico, which I was a little concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the thought of it going ground, and because I looked at the buyer's address, and it was like, it wasn't like just over the border, like it goes through Texas and then boom is where it was, like towards Central America, Mexico. But I looked it up, and apparently it's one of the states that are a little more like
closer to the Gulf.
I think it was Puebla or something. I don't know. I looked it up, and it's one of the ones that tends to have more tourists and a little bit, maybe a little more structure or something. But I was still concerned because it had to go all the way like through most of Mexico, and I was a little afraid it would be intercepted or something.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I think they flew it from one airport to the next, and it got off the plane and got to where it was going. So, yep, I was happy I was nervous, but also happy to see that it got delivered, because it was an expensive item, and the person spent a lot of money on it. So I haven't heard anything bad, so I'm guessing she got it, made it okay, in good condition, and she's happy, hopefully. I might, if I come on here crying next time, it might be because I found out otherwise, but it's been a while, and I haven't heard anything. It did take a while to get there, though.
Yeah.
The next one was consumer electronics. I sold a record player.
Oh, nice.
For parts, the record part didn't work, but it might have just been it needed new grease, which somebody who knows how to work on those probably could just pop it open and fix that. So anyway, that was actually 7.31%, so that was a pretty big one. And then other collectible bakeware, I don't remember what that was. And then other collectible cookware, probably just some sort of, I'm guessing both of those was some sort of Corning item, like Corningware, or pots, or oh, you know what, there was a kind of a stylized aluminum pot that I think we sold last month. That's right. That's probably the other collectible cookware, but anyway, some random stuff there. And then dinnerware, serveware, trays under collectibles. And do you think I remember what that is? No, I do not. But some sort of kitchenware, as you can see, that's
all very
one of our other niches. Yeah, we really didn't sell a lot. Like our top sales were not in the sort of, they overlapped the vintage stuff, like with the cookware, but it was more cookware than it was vintage collectible or anything. So I think that's interesting, and I don't know why, but I enjoy kitchen items, and I often pick them up, both contemporary and vintage.
I think a big part about kitchen items, they are very easy to clean, very easy to list, very easy to ship.
And I think they're often overlooked.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go in and like, it's a pot. Okay, but that's a pot from 1950, and it's obvious because it's stylized, you know? And so, and some of these, like, obviously not every vintage or antique kitchenware piece you're going to want to use, but a lot of them are still perfectly safe to use, especially when you're talking things like Pyrex glassware or Corning glass or any of those kinds of things, that it's perfectly safe to still use all these. So they do sell. Yeah, they do, and some of them are, moderately to high value depending on what it is. But I don't know. I like kitchenware, and that's one of the things why I've thought about. I've talked about in here before about splitting our business into two and having the decor, vintage, collectible, ephemera side, like the antique and vintage side, and then have an actual kitchenware thing, because I do tend to pick up, everything from like small appliances to glass, glassware.
Cheese knives.
And cheese knives. You just never know what I'll pick up. We did get a bunch of spreaders, like at that estate sale that I went to for 75 cents a pack of 4. And so a lot of those went up this week, some spreaders. So if any of you are looking for decorative spreaders for the holidays, I'm your girl. Go to Keeled Overstock and find them. But
it's June, not next month, Christmas in July.
Come on.
So you gotta prepare.
You can't. It's never too early to start shopping for Christmas for a certain type of person. Anyway, yeah, so those were my top, which is just a lot of kitchen crap. I had 12 things sell for promoted listings, though. 12 sold via best offer, so that tells you how often. I have 27 items, like I said earlier. 12 of them sold via promoted listings. 12 sold via best offer, which shows how often I'm willing to take. Yeah. Hannah and I are willing to take offers. We do love to take offers. Obviously, if they're too crazy low, we will say no. But reasonable offers, we like to get them. We love to send them.
What I think is great about the best offer feature is how often I'll get an offer and it's just like, no.
And maybe it's because of the areas that I'm selling in that I don't see that too often. Sometimes yes, and you were like, what are you smoking? Because why would you think I would just cut my, in half or something? Especially something that we literally, and maybe, no, they can say when we've listed it. Mm-hmm. If we have just put it up, no freaking way am I taking 50% off.
Yeah.
Calm down.
It's like some people expect that just because you're selling it on eBay means you don't care about it, you're fire selling it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. I'm trying to run a business. I'm not trying to get hosed at Hosetown,
Yeah.
I'm willing to make offers and cut deals. Like I've said before, I love the $2 method. You send, especially under $30, $2 off, $3 off. And generally people are like, oh, that sounds great, and they'll accept. Mm-hmm. But those times when I'll send an offer of $2 off, and it'll be a $25 item, and then they'll hit me back and be like, $10. And it's like, no, I'm not taking $10.
No. Yeah, I know. And it just depends. I mean, we've talked about this over and over again, but how long it's been up and what we paid for it. Like our cool teak ball. I'm not going to sell that for $5 just because I paid $2.
You paid $2.
I know
it
does have value there. But would I love if somebody went on there tonight and clicked $150? Yes, I'll love to pay that. Of course I would. That would be so awesome. But down the line, Yeah. I understand that is a high price and that, if I get 70 for it or 50 for it, I'm still doing really well. But I'm not going to immediately out the gate day one.
You don't want to fire sell it? What?
Come back in 7 months when it's been sitting there and then try it. But yeah, I know. Sometimes it's crazy. But for the most part, I feel like I get fairly reasonable offers. Or people will come in low and then you'll counter and they'll play a little bit with that. And that's fine. I understand that kind of game. But I'm wondering if it's the realms I'm selling in maybe don't have that type of, because you do the wide spray.
I noticed specific items, vintage toys, they will have people come in and give you just dog awful.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't do a lot of that. Is it nostalgia buyers, you think?
I think
so.
Than
collectors?
I think it's both. I think it's collectors who are like, I want that piece. I want that one figure. You have it listed for 10. They average for 10 to 15, but you don't have the belt. And the belt is where the real money's at because it's a WWE figure. Therefore, I can offer you $3.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like,
at a certain point, because of eBay fees, it's not even worth.
No, it's.
That's why I'm not gonna sell too many $5 items on there, because by the time they take the fees, you get nothing for your item,
Unless you're getting the item for practically nothing anyway.
And even then, you're still not getting anything.
But
so,
it's just time, and it's like, I'm not gonna take your $3 offer, my good sir. But I have noticed with tools specifically, tools are great to sell because when you list them, there's already a lot of them that have sold generally so you have a good spread to go, all right, this is what I should list it for. And then people will generally buy it now or they will send you an offer and it will be, I want $2 off, please. And it's like, done, sold.
Yeah, you have it. A little deal.
I'm like, you got it, my good sir.
Yeah. I've had a lot of sales where it was a really reasonable offer. I'm like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Of course.
Yeah. The funniest offer I think I've gotten though was somebody sent me a $1 off request on like an item that was $30. It was like,
sure.
I don't know why you even
making you feel better, yes.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny. I think my funniest one, I talked about this, probably at the beginning of our podcast. And is this episode 36 now?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, we're pushing 40 now on our episodes. And this must have been early on. Probably back episode 1 through 10, somewhere in there. I think I remember talking about the cards, the greeting cards.
Yes, yeah.
And we went back and forth with this lady. We didn't have them listed that high, and she came low. And then I changed the like how low you could offer, and she came in like just about. Anyway, it was just at that point it was just a funny situation, back and forth. And then she left us a positive review once she finally like settled on a number, and then she left us a positive review and went on her merry way. But it was just really funny, like. She came in really low, and then we're going back and forth. And once in a while, I've had the funny ones out there, but most people are pretty reasonable, or they'll just decline if you counter, and they don't like it. But I've had people do the small offers. I've sent a small offer and they said yes, or I had a couple that we went back and forth, and I don't know. It's interesting, but I don't have too many people who are. I don't get crazy lowballers too often.
Yeah.
Too often.
It's just been recent. I think the past 2 weeks I've gotten really awful, really low offers, and I'm like, why?
You know what doesn't get talked about a lot either, and I've mentioned it on here I think before, but there are resellers buying on eBay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is just people who, I think there's a little bit of people who resell on eBay. Buying on eBay, buying lots of things. Like I think I talked about some Barbie patterns, like Barbie clothes patterns that we sold in lots. One of them started out said I'm a reseller, and she wanted to negotiate the price. We were fine with that. We got a good deal on them. Cool. Yeah. I don't care.
I know people do that because let's say they know a specific niche, a specific market, and if you're selling something, they might look at it and go, they're selling it wrong. They should be listing it as this description, this title, and I've seen that specifically with clothing, for vintage clothing. There's a guy, he'll go scour eBay, and that's where he gets all of his vintage clothing.
Interesting.
He buys it on eBay. He's like, as long as I'm paying under $20, it's a good deal. And he'll buy it, clean it, take better pictures, and he knows the exact keywords for whatever it was that he was buying, and then he lists it for like $120, $150, and it will generally sell for that ballpark of what he's hunting for.
Yeah, and sometimes, and I don't care. Like, if I can be a reseller, a reselling reseller supplier, that's fine. And I think especially with the Barbie patterns, we had like 50. I mean, we had I think we had at least 50, 40 to 50. I don't remember. A lot. We had a lot because we had several lots of them of different quantities. And I have no problem. And we negotiated with this person, even though she was honest about being a reseller. I don't care. We did not want to go through each individual pattern and list this one for $10 and that one for $15.
Yep.
We just how I did it is I kind of just went on and to see like what the prices were roughly, and then just kind of gave a group price with a slight discount, but we did negotiate with that because I knew what we had into it, and I didn't want to do the individual work of all of that.
Yep. And
I'm fine with that. That person probably was a pattern reseller, might have even been a Barbie pattern reseller or a doll pattern reseller or some sort of niche pattern reseller.
And to you still got a good deal. You saved yourself time by doing it that way. And instead of you having, let's just, 50 listings.
Yep.
You had what, 3?
3 or 4. Yeah, not many. And we sold a lot of those around the same time too, which was really interesting because we kind of broke them up into decades. We did have some cool ones, like some 70s ones and some 80s ones and some 90s ones, and we kind of broke them up by rough decades and sold them that way. I think we had 4 70s Barbie clothes patterns, and yeah, I can think, oh, that's kind of cool, and oh, I think like someone else might want to buy that, but it's not my area.
Yep.
And I'm just not interested enough to, like I said, $10 for this one, $20 for that one, $5 for this one. Not my thing.
Yep.
So I'm happy to do that. And I don't know, I mean, there maybe have been other things that we had that other people thought that they could get more in their market for than what we did, but I'm interested in seeing it leave, you know? And I think what's other interesting is some of which could be the case with the vintage toy thing, people who sell in person, who are trying to lowball to get a deal. And I think like there's a couple of kind of eBay it's getting late. eBay sellers, some of them like us, they're looking at it more like a business situation, and a lot of people who just are trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
So that lowballing might work with someone who's just trying to get rid of it, but it's going to be different for us. But you know, you can try whatever you want. So anyway, did you have anything else to touch on about a May review? We're going to wrap up here. Join us again next week for another episode of the Secondhand Sellers, where we talk about all things thrift, resale, and secondhand. Let us know how you're doing with your reselling this past month down in the comments. We love comments. Please like and subscribe. It helps out our channel. And happy thrifting.
See you.
Bye.